As with any NFL draft, the 2015 NFL draft had some immense talent, but in this video, we're going to look strictly at the wide receivers taken in the first round. There were 6 of them, so let's waste no more time. These are the 2015 wide receivers, 7 years later. Taken number 4 overall by the Raiders was Amari Cooper. Cooper's first 2 seasons with the Raiders were tremendous, as he put up over 1,000 receiving yards. And at times, him and Derek Carr were very difficult to stop. Having a player have 2 great seasons like Cooper did to start his career is always a good sign. Unfortunately for the Raiders though, he couldn't quite keep up that production. And after a few solid seasons, Cooper was traded to the Dallas Cowboys. And he became their number 1 wide receiver. Cooper had the best season of his career in 2019 with over 1,000 receiving yards, and he got over the 1,000 mark once again in 2020. The Cowboys' offense was without a doubt better when Cooper was on the field in comparison to when he was not on the field. Even when the Cowboys had a loaded offense around him, with guys like CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott, and others, he still managed to be very productive. But in the 2022 offseason, the Cowboys had to trade him to the Browns because of their difficult cap situation. Cooper will line up next to Deshaun Watson next season, and we'll see what magic those two can work together. Overall though, for Cooper's career so far, he's been a very solid wide receiver. He's gotten over 1,000 yards 4 times in his career, so overall, Cooper I would say was worth drafting number 4 overall. With the 7th pick, the Chicago Bears selected Kevin White, who, honestly, has been a big bust. White has only had 323 career receiving yards thus far, and has played for 3 different teams. At one point, he went 3 years without having a catch, but at least that catch he did finally have was pretty cool. White has without a doubt not lived up to his expectations being drafted so high. His best catch total for a season is just 19. So overall, he's definitely been a bust. Taken 14th overall was Devontae Parker. Parker has only been on the Dolphins thus far in his career, and he's been great. While yes, he only has one 1,000 yard season on his resume, but he's still been pretty solid outside of that. It'll be interesting to see how well he does in 2022 because the Dolphins are so stacked with receivers, including Jalen Waddle and now Tyreek Hill. And it's not like he's ever had elite quarterbacks either. Guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Tannehill, Josh Rosen, Tua Tagovailoa, you get the point. Maybe guys that can be solid starters, but not elite quarterbacks. Parker, I think, is a quality talent. And he's a receiver that shouldn't be overlooked in today's NFL. Should he have been drafted that high? In hindsight, I'm not sure. What I do know is that he's been a solid producer. Taken number 20 overall was Nelson Agholor. Agholor played 5 seasons on the Philadelphia Eagles, and he only had 2 seasons where he got over 700 receiving yards. But he can't complain that bad. He has a Super Bowl ring. That being said, while he has and had great speed, he struggled with drops. So even though he had plays like the one you're seeing here, which are just great plays, there were other times where he just dropped the ball. Eventually, after 5 seasons, the Eagles decided to move on. Agholor found his way to the Las Vegas Raiders. He went on to have the best season of his career, tallying nearly 900 receiving yards. though unfortunately for Las Vegas, they weren't able to keep him, as in free agency, the Patriots scooped him up. His season with the Patriots, though, was disappointing, and he wasn't too productive. He made nice plays, no doubt, but he only had less than 500 receiving yards, so it was not a great year. So overall for Nelson Agholor's career, he wasn't a complete bust because he had a couple good seasons, but the fact of the matter is, he's never had 1,000 yards. Taken late in the first round was Breshad Perriman, drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Thus far, Perriman has not lived up to those expectations. He's been on 4 different NFL teams, including 2 separate stints with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His best year came in 2019, where he had 36 catches for 645 yards. Perriman will probably continue to make a career out of being a second, third, or fourth option in the passing game. He hasn't been bad, but he definitely hasn't been first round worthy either. In general, Breshad Perriman has been decent at best. But anyways, there's one more receiver that we should run through. Taken number 29 overall was Phillip Dorsett to the Indianapolis Colts. Dorsett's career has been similar to Perriman's so far. He's found himself on 5 different NFL teams. The longest time he was with one team was 3 years with the Patriots from 2017 to 19, but since then, he hasn't been able to stay on a team for more than one season. Dorsett has only had over 500 receiving yards in a season one time. He's similar to Perriman in that he will probably be your 3rd or 4th wideout at best. He's only surpassed 500 yards in a season one time. Last year, he found his way to Houston and barely saw any production. About half of his receiving yards came on this sick catch. Overall, for Phillip Dorsett's career, it's been okay at best. So overall for this wide receiver class, I would say most of them didn't quite live up to their potential. That is, except for Amari Cooper. I think he's been terrific over the course of his NFL career and has lived up to those expectations. But all of these receivers have made great plays at times. But before we're done here, there are 2 wide receivers I want to talk about that weren't drafted in the first round. First off is Dorial Green-Beckham. You might have not heard of this guy before, but he was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school in 2012, and he was a beast in high school. Unfortunately, off-the-field troubles started to catch up to him, and he ended up not playing a snap for his final year of college. Still though, he was drafted in the 2nd round just sheer to his upside. He didn't do much in the NFL, and unfortunately, he has still been struggling with off-the-field issues. This guy was so dominant in high school, so it's really sad to see the route that his career has taken him and just his life in general. On a more uplifting note, the most productive receiver from 2015 is Stefon Diggs. The crazy thing about Diggs is that he was drafted in round 5, well after any of the guys we just talked about. He started his career with the Minnesota Vikings, but in the last 2 seasons, he's been with the Buffalo Bills, and he has been elite. He's had some really great plays, and he's also been on the receiving end of one of the most memorable plays in NFL history.
Steps into it, pass is caught! Diggs! Side